Morning, everybody. It's Wednesday morning, 8:27 Eastern Time. Um, got a good day in the market yesterday and Monday, so we had a clear idea what direction we're heading, but we did get a little bit of a turnaround yesterday. So let's talk about it and see how it's going to affect us today and maybe into the rest of the week. All right. So without further whatever, let's get going. We gotta go. All right. First up, as usual, is the S&P, and S&P continues to sell off. Looks like we're going to be trying to find some support down around 5,878. So we'll see what happens with that. Got our moving averages coming up to support at this little window that has been reconciled down here. So the only thing we really got that's keeping us from falling through here is these support areas. If we get down here, watch out below. Next up is the Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin continues its sell off, coming back down in here. It's closing below this support area where we had hoped to be support that had turned into some resistance yesterday, and now it's continuing to be resistance, and looks like we're going to get a little more sell off into this morning. Alright, we have to see what happens with Bitcoin. We might find some support here in this area, but we got that window that needs to be reconciled. So we may be coming down into the 77s, 60,000s soon in Bitcoin. Looks like they got into a hurry over here and just really started selling off. Alright, next up is the oil. And oil continues its sell off, put in a nice good sign here that we want to continue to go lower. Fat doji. So we're going to most likely continue to go lower in oil. Might get a little green and push down, a little green, push down, but we're definitely heading down to this support area at $67. Next up is the E-mini, S&P 500, and it's continuing to sell off. Got a little bit of a, what, might be considered a pause. So we have to see what happens today and Thursday. Most likely we're going to get a little bit of a push up and then sell off and continue lower. Got our moving averages rolling over. We're still in the up market though, so this can turn green and run back to retest this previous high at any time. Alright, once we get below these moving averages, then we might be considering it to go lower. But currently we're still bullish, but in a down. We're bullish, or we're bearish in a bullish market. There you go. Good morning. Next up is Ethereum futures, and the sell-off continues. Got a little gap down, so we might get a back and fill and then continue to sell. Got a gap down over here too, so at some point it's going to want to fill in that. At least we know that we have something overhead to look forward to. Alright, but currently down market in Ethereum. Next up is gold. And gold ran into the ceiling. Now it's coming back to try to gather the troops to try it again, but currently I put in a little doji right now, so we open up below that. We may want to come down and retest the support area. If that doesn't hold, then we're coming back down into here. Alright, on gold. But yeah, currently, just like some of the other ones, gold is in an up market, but it's bearish at the moment. Alright, so trust the green, not the red. Next up is natural gas, and natural gas is got that ceiling that it ran into here at $4.47. Came back, seemed to have the support of the $3.93 area here. So let's look for maybe this morning we might get a little bit more of a pullback to retest the support area to confirm it as support. And if this area holds, then we run back and retest. If that doesn't hold, then we may come back down and bounce around a little bit, get into a little bit of a range and get our bearings together and gather our forces, and then go back and try to get through it again. But currently, uh, same as the other two, in an uptrending market, but bearish at the moment. Next up is the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ had a good sell-off here, taking a little bit of a break because you see it had all these bars that were selling. So now I found some support here in this area at 20,983, and then trying to get a little bit of a bounce up or a little bit of a pause. Might have been some shorts closing down here somewhere, and so now you got a little bit of somebody has to buy it to make it go back up. So these close, somebody buys it, and then now you got it going back up. So anyway, we might get a little bit of a pause here. It's like we're about 50% there of this move. So look for somewhere around 50%. Maybe that's about 50% here of this move down. So we want to get up into here, hit that resistance, and then come on down again. So you can buy here and sell somewhere in this area, and then go short back down into here. But be careful because it's a uptrending market. So it's a bullish market, but just bearish at the moment. Alright, so you got to trust the green more than the red. Let me clarify that. Trust the green more than the red, but as you can see, you can't ignore the red either. So let's make that clear for those of you that don't want to read between the lines. Alright, so next up is silver, and silver's got that showing some weakness. Uptrending market, bearish at the moment. Put in a little fat doji. If we open up below that doji, we're probably going to continue to sell off into the silver down into this area here around $31. And don't get me wrong when I talk about these things being in a bullish market but bearish at the moment, because it's always bearish at the moment until it breaks down below these trade winds, and then once it gets down here, now it's bearish for sure. See what I'm saying? So so you can trust the red in some instances, right? But remember that it can at some point pause like this. That's what I'm trying to say. It may at some point stop and reverse. Okay, come down, stop, reverse, and then continue to sell off. Okay, so that's kind of what I mean when I say don't trust the red. I just mean that at some point, even though we're selling off, we're still in a bullish market, and so at some point we're going to stop and turn around and reverse. When that's going to happen, you have to kind of watch the signals, and it's almost the same duplicate move on this silver. If you look at the silver here, what happened here? It came down, paused, almost put in a double pin bar or tweezers, popped up, came down and almost put in tweezers again, and then popped up and ran for a while. Right? Then it turned around and did the same thing but reversed. Up here, sold off, popped back up. Didn't do a tweezers up here, but it did do a tweezer here and it sold off. Then it did the same thing as it did over here, where it hit down, popped up, put in a little fake W, dropped down again, and then rolled back up again. Exact same move. Exact same move. Exact same move. Exact same move. So this thing right here is just a telegraph right here. Silver is just telegraphing everything it's going to do. And all you have to do is just pay attention to it. Alright? And be nimble. Don't be sitting there. And sometimes you get, some of these stocks move like molasses, and they'll get you trapped. You're sitting there lulled to sleep trying to watch it and see what it's going to do. And sometimes you got to walk away from it and let a bar happen for 1 day or 2 days or whatever. See, that's a 2-day bar. This is a 3 month and a day chart. So that's a 2 days of trading right there. So you got this one here and here, and you got the reversal signal, and you get this coming back down to confirm it, and then boom, there we go, off to the races. All right, so it's enough on silver, but that's just a little explanation on reversing in silver. Let's see if we can spot another reversal somewhere. The Dow Jones Industrial, and we hitting that ceiling again, and it kind of did a little V there and sold off, or W, whatever you want to call it. And the same thing here, hit up there, sold off, hit up again, and then sold off again. Try to push up for a third time, and then just let it go. All right, so now here we are here, maybe doing this thing right here, a little reversal, but we need to make sure we go up, back, and then all the way back up again, right? Put in that W, or unless we put in that lightning bolt to the downside. So lightning bolt to the upside, lightning bolt to the downside. So either you're going to get a W or you're going to get a lightning bolt. All right. So currently the Dow is showing some weakness. We got a little bit of a pullback into here. Not much power going into these two moves. So we'll see what happens today when it opens up. Set to open up a little bit higher up into here, but we got this overhead resistance. So careful with this one. We may be getting a nice sell-off going into later on today and into tomorrow morning. All right. So keep an eye on that on the Dow. Next up is we got through our majors. We got Apple. Let's talk about Apple real quick. All right, I'm gonna speed it back up. I'm getting too long-winded on some of these. All right, so Apple's running into that resistance again up here at 248. Pre-market, we done sold off and we're down around 245. So we're going to open up down around in here somewhere on Apple. We have to see what it's going to do, if it's going to continue that. Let's see, the low of that bar is 244.93. So we'll still be within this bar somewhere here. And I hate that my chart does that. Sometimes it'll give me these little bars and make it look like it's not really doing anything. I get these other big bars and it looks like it's doing something when it ain't doing nothing really. So that's just for me to deal with. That's not your problem. Sorry for even involving you. All right, next up is let's look at Albemarle, which has been selling like crazy. And yep, send us down moving market, closes windows. So that's a good sign. Got this window closed here. Maybe it found some support down here at $72. Looks like maybe if we can come back down in here and put in that double bottom, might be ready to start heading back up. Maybe we just need to come down here and close these windows. We'll have to see how that works out. I know this lithium thing and I don't know. Every time I hear there's just so many different changes concerning these electric vehicles and everything too. So I don't know if that's going to change the whole lithium trade, or if they're just still they're pretending like they're going to get away from it. I know at least for the next 4 years, most likely we probably won't be doing electric vehicles. According to the president, it's going to be drill, baby drill, all about the oil, all about the combustion engine. So we'll see what happens. We need to be able to use a little bit of everything that we have at our disposal. So can't just rely on one thing. Next up is, in the interest of getting this out, I'm going to do Chipotle. Chipotle put in a nice reversal yesterday. So we found our 50% right here at about $54.46. All right, so that's a 50% move of that move down here. So look for some resistance on trying to get back up into this channel here. We may hit that and sell off and come back down and maybe find some support here and try to go higher. Or if we break through that, we continue to our sell off. So keep an eye on that. But we're definitely going into a bearish market on Chipotle. So be careful with that as the days move forward. But look for a little bit of a bounce back up into here, most likely. Say about maybe about $55, $56, and then the sell off again. Or maybe we might get a V reversal and just continue going, but I don't see that. That's just not a very good looking move. You know what I mean? Chart wise, it's just not a very good chart looking move there. But anyway, nobody cares about what your chart looks like, but time is definitely something we need in Chipotle to get our assurances that we're in a good support area. Okay. All right. Next up is going to be Rocket Lab, because Rocket Lab is our other baby. And Rocket Lab found a little bit of a bottom also after this nice sell-off right here about 1973, and then we're looking for our midpoint at about 24.86. So look for the bounce maybe back into halfway, or maybe not. We'll see what happens, but we might get back up to about $24 or so, and then look for some resistance happening in here, and then we'll figure out if we're going to continue to sell off or continue higher. All right, this is our resistance area in here, so don't get caught thinking you're going to ride the green all the way back up into here. All right, we might get into some trouble here, so you may have to take a little bit off and get it back in as it comes back and confirms this support area, and then heads higher. All right, so that's Rocket Lab. Let's look at Tesla real quick. Tesla was showing some signs of reversing too. Tesla still got this window open down here, so I'd like to see it come down and reconcile those windows. Oh, actually, that two windows. So anyway, I'd like to see it come down here to 208 and close those windows before trying to go back higher. But like I said, there's a lot of confusion, at least for me anyway, as far as these electric vehicles are concerned. You know, and with the Doge father going around cutting all these budget stuff, and they're doing this budget stuff or whatever. Maybe he might need to budget himself too with all those things that he's getting as far as subsidies, because I'm sure he's getting some subsidies. Because why wouldn't he? Right? If they're out there, why not use them? All right. I think that's going to be it for today. Oh, Palantir. What you did? Did somebody request Palantir? Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. So yeah, Palantir might be looking for some support here at $84. Since today seems to be pause day, we're getting a little bit of a pause on some of these. We might even get a little bit of a bounce today, but I wouldn't trust them going into the weekend. All right, so be careful with these heading into the weekend. In fact, the weekend is almost putting us into a new month, isn't it? So we got a new month coming up. Yeah, real quick here. In another 4 days or 3 days. Saturday is the 1st. So I think the tariffs are on come the 1st, aren't they? Are we back into the tariff territory? I'll have to look into that and see. But if we could get back into the tariff territory, then a lot of these guys may continue to show some weakness again because of the tariffs. All right, so that's all I got for now. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and get ready for the next one because it's coming. All right, you guys, be careful out there. These markets are crazy.